who secured 455 points. In the medium open category, Spoiled Rotten Kids took first place. Vanessa and Friends took the top spot in the small open category, while Sophie's Window topped the mini open category. In other news, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Tobago Division is reporting a safe carnival period. Providing an update during Carnival Tuesday celebrations, Senior Superintendent Rodil Kirk said from the start of Tuesday's celebrations, officers were out in their numbers and no major incidents were reported.
Hall this morning, a crowd about 2005 walked the street this morning, and tonight we have the mud bands parading Scarborough. We had estimated about 4,000 persons I will see on Scarborough now. The police are along with the bands. So far we have no reported incident, and I'm happy for that.
Superintendent Kirk noted that the Tobago Division adopted a zero-tolerance approach to any incidents, noting that officers' quick response during the parade of the bands on Tuesday resulted in the arrest of one man.
Earlier, our officers were called into action when there was a little altercation, and they took those persons out of the celebration, and that is good. Things went smooth after that. I also want to thank the Tobago public for being well behaved.
On Carnival Monday, Assistant Commissioner of Police Michael Pei said knives and cutlasses were confiscated during roadblock exercises. However, no major incidents were reported. And now on to some sport. It was an evening to forget for the Trinidad and Tobago Premier Football League champions, Defence Force. The side, who finished the game on 10 men, won the end of a heavy 5-0 loss at the hands of Major League Soccer team Philadelphia Union in the first leg of their Round 1 fixture in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. After Wednesday's match at the Hazy Crawford Stadium, Defence Force head coach Devon Josling stated that currently the MLS team are the better side.
From a personal point of view, how proud were you to lead your team out in the region's premier tournament?
I'm very proud, but that's just one aspect of it. You know, after that you want to really go and compete, and at times in the game we did that, right? If you can remember, we get the first chance of the game with Keaton St-Hilaire running onto a through ball, but he hit it over bar, and that could have changed the game. But you have to give respect where it's due, and I think at this moment in time, Philadelphia Union is ahead of us.
And that's what's making the news this morning. But joining us right now is the host of Trinidad and Tobago Today, Virmala Balkaran. Good morning, my good friend Virmala.
Good morning, Carrie, or should I say birthday boy. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you so much. I kept it quiet yesterday, you know, but I had a good day.
realized that. Yeah, and by the end of the show, I completely forgot to wish you happy birthday. So happy birthday, Carrie. I wish you many more happy and healthy years to come.
Emphasis on the healthy. With open arms. Thank you so much.
You look really nice today.
You look nice yourself, you know, because we're wearing J&K signature styles.
That's right. I love the quarter zip, and I feel like you are officially part of the quarter zip movement.
Oh, all I'm missing is the matcha latte right now, you know, because we don't wear Nike
I think that can be arranged, you know. That can definitely be arranged.
Yeah. You know me and my caffeine.
A special good morning to the staff of J&K Signature Styles, especially the branch at Grand Bazaar.
Grand Bazaar, they were so helpful, so professional. You know, they really made us feel at home.
Yeah, just the experience of picking out an outfits, outfits I would say, they made it so comfortable, and they're really sweet. So a special good morning to them.
Yeah, and like I didn't pick this on my own, you know. But I must admit, you helped me pick it too, you know.
I helped. So did you. You also helped me. So I guess it was a team effort. Well, we've got another packed show today, Carrie. It is the day after Ash Wednesday. Ramadan is fully in swing, and yeah, we've got a lot to talk about. Also, we're talking about the cleanup of all these spaces after Carnival. Okay. Yeah, so it's gonna be another busy day.
Well, I'll be locked on myself.
All right, Carrie. Talk soon.
All right, we will. Thanks so much, Virmala.
You're welcome.
When we come back, the Trinidad and Tobago Today morning show gets going after this break.
Talk City 91.1. Thought-provoking conversations, bold perspectives, voices you trust. Talk City 91.1 is launching bigger, bolder, and more powerful than ever before.
Yes, Talk City 91.1 FM.
A brand new era of talk radio is here. With voices you know, trust, and respect. Get ready for an all-new lineup of the very best in talk. Andy Williams, Lennox Smith, Stephen Reese, Mr. X, Derek Charbodi, Roland Stewart, Sharon Farfan, Sudath Prasad, Heavy Duty, Alex Asing, Karen Francisco, Cherry Lean Lewis, Short Pants, and more of the voices shaping the national conversation. From hard-hitting current affairs to real community issues, culture, politics, social development, and the stories that matter most to you. This is where Trinidad and Tobago comes to talk.
So I'll go right to on Talk City 91.1, where we're going to give you something new, something hot every day, Monday to Friday.
Listen on 91.1 FM and connect on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. New shows, new features, big giveaways. Talk City 91.1, your city, your voice.
Now listen, this is your boy Carlos Edwards, and as a former player, let me tell you, it's the fans, man. The fans that made the game, that's the 12th man right there. And when it comes to Trinidad and Tobago, there's only one 12th man you need to know. My guy, Andre Errol Baptiste on TTT. He's bringing the heat every Tuesday.
With another edition of Caribbean Week in Review.
Thursday, 19th February 2026. The time now, it is 6:09 a.m. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago and the world. I'm Virmala Balkaran, and welcome to Trinidad and Tobago Today. Well, you know the drill. Let's take a look now at what's trending this morning. Trinidad and Tobago has officially been removed from the European Union's list of non-cooperative tax jurisdictions. Now, that decision was taken by the EU's Economic and Financial Affairs Council on February 17th. Now, being on that EU list, well, it carries some reputational weight. It actually signals concerns about transparency, tax governance, and regulatory standards. So essentially, being removed from that list, it is definitely not a small thing. So according to the Ministry of Finance, this milestone reflects several years of engagement and reform to align with the internationally agreed standards for tax good governance. Now, to get there, Trinidad and Tobago replaced its former free trade zone regime with a special economic zone regime that, well, meets international standards. The country also strengthened its tax transparency framework between 2024 and 2025, including signing the OECD Multilateral Convention on a Mutual Administrative Assistance in Tax Matters and receiving a largely compliant rating on exchange of information. So, all of that. But what does it mean in practical terms? Let me break it down for you. It strengthens the country's international financial reputation, essentially. It signals to investors and global partners that TNT, well, we are meeting global standards. in an environment where economic credibility matters, especially for small states like us, that removal carries weight. Well, shifting back to our Carnival 2026 wrap-up now, it goes without saying, Machel Montano, well, he's done it again. He has captured the 2026 Road March title with Encore, extending his record to 12 Road March wins. That's the most by any artist in Trinidad and Tobago's history. The official results show that Encore was played 171 times at the designated judging points. We have Voice securing second place with Can't Behave, and that was played 127 times. And then Bungie Garland came in third with Roadman, recorded 97 times. So this win, as you know, cements Machel Montano's position as the most successful Road March champion in the competition's history, beating Lord Kitchener. Well, continue our Carnival wrap-up. Carnival 2026 is actually being hailed as a major economic and cultural success. We spoke about this yesterday, and just to remind you, it was really successful. So in a media release issued on Ash Wednesday yesterday, the Ministry of Culture and Development, Community Development, and the National Carnival Commission both described the season as a bumper one, something I've been saying, that reinforced Trinidad and Tobago's position as a world-class cultural destination. Now, there was a theme this year, you're gonna love this, and organizers, well, they said it was strong public participation, those vibrant events, and of course, coordinated stakeholder support. They also highlighted Panorama as a central showcase and infrastructure like, as you know, the Flavor Food Village we've been talking so much about, the John Cupid Carnival Village, and they all really created welcoming, family-friendly spaces while sustaining, of course, the traditional expressions of Carnival heritage. And importantly, the Ministry and NCC acknowledged cooperation from masqueraders, the band leaders, service providers, security agencies, and cultural bodies, and of course the regional corporations, including post-carnival cleanup efforts, which we will chat a little more about later on. And you know, it's really interesting that we've been having this conversation about the villages and all the success that it's had. And over the past few weeks, we've been discussing on the show, is soca seasonal? Is calypso seasonal? And the need for it to not be seasonal, for it to be a year-round or a year-long project. And maybe it begs the question, do we need some element of carnival all year long? Is that something we'll be interested in? Is that something, the government will be interested in? Maybe we can talk a little bit about that a little later on. But for now, we turn our attention to a really sacred time in the Islamic calendar. Ramadan officially began this morning. Fasting has begun. And joining me on set is Imam Ibrahim Abdul Ghani of the Masjid Al-Mukarrabin in San Fernando. And we know that Ramadan, nearly 2 billion people actually around the world are beginning this journey of reflection, discipline, and deep community. And we're, of course, talking about, as I said, the holy month of Ramadan. But Ramadan is more than just abstaining from food and drink during the daylight hours. It is a time for spiritual renewal, charity, and refocusing of the heart, something that I think we definitely need to help us understand the true essence of this month and how we can support all our Muslim neighbors during this time. We're joined by Imam this morning. Good morning, Imam.
Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum to all the Muslim viewers, and pleasant good morning to the hostess.
Wa alaikum assalam, and Ramadan Mubarak to you.
Ramadan Kareem.
So I can only imagine, so much preparations and everything, just getting ready for this beautiful month. I know you do a lot to get to this place, and you've been eagerly awaiting the sighting of the moon. So for those who may know Ramadan only as a fast, Imam, can you please explain the deeper purpose behind it for us?
Okay, so apart from fasting, Ramadan is also about the Quran. This is the last revealed book that God Almighty revealed to mankind. It's a book of guidance, it's a book of instruction, and the Quran was revealed in the month of Ramadan. So apart from fasting, we focus on the recitation of Quran, the memorization of the Quran, and the practical implementation of the Quran.
Yeah. So walk us through a typical day for someone observing, what are suhoor and iftar, those terms, and why are those moments so significant for a Muslim, doing the fast?
Well, suhoor is the food that you would eat to begin the fast. And this, so the time at this time of the year is like about, let's say about 7 to 8 minutes past 5 is the time when we would stop eating and drinking. And well, throughout the day, we busy ourselves with, as I said before, recitation of Quran, trying to do many good deeds as possible. In this month of Ramadan, as opposed to out of the month of Ramadan, we thought that we get more rewards and more blessings for doing the same good deed that you could have done out of the month of Ramadan. So it's multiplied by 70 times. So hence, it's a time to gather up a lot of good deeds, for the afterlife, so to say, right? So after we take the suhoor, with the food to start the fast, we perform our prayers, our Fajr prayer, our first prayer for the morning. Then we have, 4 more prayers for the rest of the day. But throughout the day, we busy ourselves in doing as much good deeds as possible, trying our best to, be patient and to refrain from what would generally be unlawful, right? Because out of Ramadan, we are commanded to refrain from things that would be unlawful, like, for example, unlawful drink. As Muslims, you don't drink alcohol. Unlawful food. As Muslims, you don't eat foods like pork and so on. And, unlawful relations with those who are not our spouses. So we generally stay away from these things. But in Ramadan, the ante is upped, so to say, because whilst we are accustomed staying away from what is unlawful, in Ramadan, we are commanded to stay away from what is lawful food, water, and relations with one spouse. This gives us a stronger ability, because if it is, we can successfully and sincerely train ourselves to stay away from water. On a hot, humid day, you stay away from water. Then how strong would you be to stay away from what is wrong? Yeah. So throughout the day, we focus on this, and we, as you asked about the iftar, right? This is the food that we break our fast with, right? And the time for breaking the fast is, like, let's say that's about 10 past 6, right? And so throughout the day, it's a busy day of contemplation, reflection, introspection, and ensuring that we, maximize on the amount of good deeds that we can do.
Yeah. You spoke about good deeds. One of those good deeds, charity zakat. Can you tell us about that, and why is it, so emphasized during this month?
Right. So, like fasting, which is one of the 5 pillars of Islam, zakat is also a pillar of Islam. It's to give 2.5% of your annual savings, right, to the poor and the needy. And in Ramadan, as I said before, we get more rewards for doing whatever good deeds we do. So a lot of Muslims would try to pay their zakat and give their charity in the month of Ramadan, so as to capitalize on the auspicious time and the multiplying of the benefits and the rewards of giving zakat. So zakat is a charity, and when it is, you calculate your annual savings, and you give it to the imam, and he would distribute it now to the poor and the needy. It gives a sense of brotherhood and togetherness, something that we need as a people, we need as a country, right? So charity is one of the pillars of Islam, just like fasting, and a pillar is like a column, and it holds up something, and that something is the house of Islam.
So I know the last 10 nights of Ramadan are very, very sacred, especially Laylatul Qadr. Can you tell us about that, and why is it described as better than 1,000 months?
Okay, so Laylatul Qadr is translated as the night of power or the night of destiny. This is actually the night that the Quran was revealed, right? It is said that it is better than 1,000 months. 1,000 months calculates to 83 years, right, and 4 months. And well, the reason for that, many scholars give weighing as to what 1,000 months really means. So it's better than a lifetime of what? Of not just doing good deeds, but of gaining the rewards for the good deeds that you do. So in the month of Ramadan, in the last 10 nights, we seek out this night of destiny. It is in the odd nights. Interestingly, we know from the narration of the Prophet, peace be upon him, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that he came to his companions to give them the information as to when the night of power is, and he found some of them arguing. And as a result of that, the information was not given to them. So a lot of Muslims would busy ourselves in, trying to stay up all night doing prayer and remembrance of God and reading the Quran. But more so, before we search for this night of power, we remember why it was lost in the first place, and this was because of arguments and falling outs and so on. So we see the search for the night of power not just as to stay up all night and you look up in the ceiling to see angels coming down, because this is what the Quran says, right? That angels descend on that night. But part of the search is actually to make amends and to patch up relationships and to ensure that we don't reach to that stage having fallen outs and not being able to reconcile our differences with each other. So a good, a nice admonition for my fellow Muslims out there, and even for myself. Whoever you had fallen out with this year, before Ramadan, make amends, patch up, ask for forgiveness, because this is why we had lost the information as to when exactly the night and the hour is. So, the constructive reminder, make amends out there. If it is, a father, a son, a brother to a brother, neighbors, ensure that these issues that we would have had from time to time, because we are human beings, we fall out at times, right? So from time to time, we would have issues with each other. And in the quest and the search for Laylatul Qadr, we begin by ensuring that these issues are sorted out.
Imam, there's a common misconception that everyone must fast. Who is exempt from fasting, and how can they still, just be in the spirit of this month, even if they're not fasting?
Okay, so those who would be exempted from fasting are those who are not well, who are ill, who are on a journey, mothers who are breastfeeding, right? So for those who have legitimate reasons for not fasting, there's something called the fidya, right, which is to feed one person for a day, right, for every day that you missed, right? However, there's a more stricter penalty then, so to say, for those who missed fasting without a valid reason, and that is to fast 60 days consecutive, right? I see you open your eyes like, wow, that's like 2 months, right?
Yeah.
So, Allah says in the Quran, He doesn't mean to burden us, right? So those who are sick, those who are on a journey, mothers who are breastfeeding, right? So they are exempted, right? And those who have legitimate reasons can feed someone for a day, for each day that they missed, right?
Imam, I want to ask you something different. No, it's a rare occurrence this year that Ramadan overlaps with the start of Lent. What do you think this says about our shared values? And, just the reflection. It's a collective reflection happening right now in the country. What are your views on that?
Well, in the Quran, chapter 2, verse 183, Allah says in the Quran, and I would recite it, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who believe, kutiba alaykumus siyam. Fasting was prescribed unto you. Kama kutiba ala ladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattakun. Fasting was prescribed unto you as it was prescribed for those before you, that perchance you might gain taqwa. Taqwa, it's an Arabic word. It means God consciousness, self-restraint, self-control, to have fear of the punishment of God, to have love for God. But the overarching meaning is God consciousness. So fasting is nothing new. It's not peculiar to Muslims or people of different faiths do fast. The methodology and the system obviously differs. And I guess some of the criterions and the reasons would also differ as well. But it's interesting that it happened, close. But even more interesting is that the month of Ramadan happened just after Carnival. This was a trying time for us. As Muslims, we are not allowed to take part in Carnival, right? I heard a little while before we had the interview started, you gave the news, and we are making headways throughout the world with Carnival, right? And as Muslims, this is one of the reasons actually why we fast, because if it is, we can successfully and sincerely train ourselves to stay away from water, then who can, entice us to, partake in alcohol? As a matter of fact, we want to be real as could be, right? We live in a time where we see a lot of crime, Trinidadians, Trinbagonians has PhDs in the ostrich syndrome. We like to bury our heads in the sand. I saw a party the other day, and everybody dancing and happy, and was actually awake. And this is from a psychological perspective, that we try to do these things to kind of ease the pain and the effect of such things. But as human beings, we see that in our society, we are in dire need of God consciousness, right? So fasting builds this. We hear the politicians, they speak about, crime, and coming around election times. This has they actually build their campaign around it, so to say. However, and I'm just being as real as can be, right? So bear with me. Statistics of Alcoholics Anonymous, 25% of the reports, the beds in the hospital, alcohol-related illnesses. 45% of the reports in the police station, alcohol-related reports. 75% of the cases in the courthouse, alcohol-related matters. 84% of road fatalities, alcohol-related accidents. 92% of broken homes, alcohol-related. Yet, we never heard a correlation from the politicians about the correlation between alcohol and crime. So when we fast as Muslims, we train ourselves to stay away from water, right, life. And in doing so, we are stronger and strong enough now to stay away from even what is forbidden to drink.
Thank you so much, Imam. Brief final question for you. We're looking towards the end of the month, Eid al-Fitr. Can you briefly tell us, what are we going to be celebrating, and how do we come together as a community for that grand finale?
Right. So, the Eid is a celebration of ending the month of fasting, right? So it's like a graduation. Because we went through the rigorous month of discipline, patience, forbearance, amends, reconciliation, reminding ourselves about our duty towards each other and our duty towards our Lord. And when it is we have reached Eid, it is like a graduation. So you find that people who probably, before the month of Ramadan, or even in the early stages of Ramadan, who would have had issues with each other, they would have graduated, bigger than the arguments or the falling outs that they would have had. And this is a very joyful time. Yeah. And, Muslims come together, we celebrate this day of graduation, Eid ul-Fitr. A lot of children, food, happy and festive occasion. And, we look forward to not just reaching Eid in one piece, right? But also conquering ourselves, right? Conquering the self, being able to be in control of ourselves, in control of our desires, in control of the Arabic word is nafs, our lower desires. And this is actually what is the happiness at the end of the month of Ramadan, that we have conquered ourselves, and in doing so, we would have become better human beings. And this is what the Eid ul-Fitr is really all about.
Great, thank you so much, Imam, and I hope you have an enjoyable and good fast today and for the rest of the Ramadan month. Well, the conversation on Ramadan and Islam by extension continues when we come back. Our very own Sherilyn Lewis joins us to talk about her brand new program airing on TTT and so much more in Trinidad and Tobago today. That was great.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون.
This powerful verse from the Holy Quran invites us to embrace reflection, self-discipline, and spiritual renewal. Join us daily on TTT Limited for special Ramadan features, inspiring messages, heartfelt moments of devotion, and reflections that uplift our nation.
When it matters, we're there, reporting the news as it happens, because your world can't wait. TTT News, nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
You are dearer to me than all the stars. So many wish but never reach. 'Cause when I'm falling and all the world seems dark, you help me find my peace. Oh, shun mi ba fishani. Oh, shun mi ba.
Charlene Lewis has embarked upon her Islam-based television program on TTT called Ramadan Reflections, which airs next week. And she also hosts her very own talk show on Talk City 91.1 FM called Woman's Perspective in Islam. Assalamu alaikum, Charlene.
Walaikum assalam, Virmala.
And Ramadan Mubarak to you.
Thank you so much.
Well, I know you're fasting today. So
of course,
yeah,
yes,
you got up early to be here as well.
Yes, today was the very first day of fasting for me, and I had a very balanced suhoor.
Yeah.
So hopefully it sustains me throughout the day.
It definitely will. I wish that for you. So Charlene, congratulations on Woman's Perspective. Tell me a little about that. That's on Talk City 91.1 FM.
Well, actually, Woman's Perspective in Islam is the only show that centers around Muslim women in the community in mainstream media. And of course, that speaks to the vision of, TTT Limited on a whole in seeing that need. Often at times, there's a great perception that Muslim women are oppressed. People mistake modesty for timidity, and that is far from the truth. In my show, it's been on for like a month and a half, and I would say successfully, I have interviewed many Muslim women who are from very prominent backgrounds, well established in their careers, as well as their Islamic education. And not only that, what is interesting is that many of them are wives and mothers. So the balance is there between having a profession and being a practicing Muslim woman. And we delve into a lot of real issues that impact the Muslim community, but also the wider society as a whole. So I think all in all, it's a great show. I've had conversations on the topic of youth and mental health. I've had conversations from Green Dean TNT. That is an NGO where they are really eco-friendly. And I had a representative from Green Dean TNT who spoke about, wastage during this month of Ramadan. I've spoken to attorneys, I've spoken to psychologists, I've spoken to doctors. I was even joined by, the Deputy Speaker of the House, Dr. Aina Ali, who was one of my early guests, to just speak about her journey as a Muslim woman in that position in Trinidad and Tobago. So again, it is definitely breaking through a lot of the stigmas and barriers and the preconceived notions, myself being someone who is in media, marketing, comms. So, I think it's a really good program.
Yeah, Charlene, you continue that vein as well with Ramadan Reflections on TTT, and I know that airs next week. So another congratulations on that. So tell me about that, and when is it airing?
Well, Ramadan Reflections is a limited series that will air during this blessed month of Ramadan, and it starts next week, Tuesday, on TTT. And that really highlights a lot of issues that is pertinent to the Muslim community as it relates to fasting. So, for instance, we have Ramadan as a training month that would have filmed already, and that episode would be the very first episode where I interviewed Mufti Abrar Ali, very accomplished. Then I did another episode as it relates to fasting and the youth, because we have a lot of young persons in the community, and sometimes they spend themselves doom scrolling all day on TikTok. So we want to talk about how that digital addiction is there and how you can wean yourself out of it during this blessed month. So we spoke about that, and then we're going to be talking about Islam and its leniencies, and also to women issues, because women who have PCOS, who might be on their menses, and the leniency as it relates to that. So we're going to explore that, and then my final episode delves into Eid, but as a communal thing where we are just in harmony and we really have that bond with family, friends, and even socialize with non-Muslims and make it a really vibe event.
Yeah, so you've been having fun filming this, I can only imagine. Yeah. So it's every Tuesday?
It's every Tuesday, just for the month of Ramadan.
All right. So Charlene, what are you looking forward to most for Ramadan this year?
Well, for me, personally, I would like to engage more in the nightly prayer, which is the Tawari, right? In the past, it was kind of, I didn't really hold fast to that, but this year I am committing myself to Tawari. That's a personal challenge for myself, so I'm very much looking forward to that.
You're going to be fasting all month, hopefully.
Of course, I'll be fasting. I mean, I'm fasting now. And I've been invited to some iftars already, I must say. Jazakallah to the St. Joseph TML Ladies Association. They invited me to their iftar this weekend, inshallah. So I'll definitely be attending.
So, Charlene, any special program, anything we can look forward to on the woman's perspective in Islam for the month of Ramadan?
Yes, indeed. My first Ramadan episode, which will be this weekend, this Saturday and Sunday, inshallah, I will be looking at nutrition. Right, so I have someone who's a dietitian who's coming in. Her name is Farah Ali Islam. She's really good.
Yes, her content is really, really good.
Yeah, she represents Restore Nutrition. And she's coming in to just give us tips and guidance on how to have balanced meal like in suhoor and iftar. Because a lot of people tend to overeat during iftar. You know, there's a lot of samosas and cake. Spread. So, you know, you find yourself gaining weight. So, and then too, that contributes to health problems like acid reflux in the night. Yeah. So she's going to be talking to me about that. Then we have a fitness person coming in. Her name is Jessica. She's coming in to speak about how you can still do a little 10 minutes, 20 minutes workout to keep yourself active so you're not sluggish and just wasting away a day. So those are the type of discussions. Then we're going to get into, I'm going to be joined by Manwar Ali, and we're going to be speaking about taqwa in a very deep way, God consciousness during this month. And then I have two muftis, respectively, who would be coming in to speak about Hajj and Zakat and Sadaqah and these various things. So it's going to have a bit of everything for everyone.
Definitely a holistic approach to Ramadan and to fasting as well. Yeah. Thank you, Charlene, and congrats once again. We're so proud of you. I feel like I've known you for a very long time.
Of course.
Yeah, we've seen the evolution of Charlene over the years, and I'm really, really proud of you and everything that you've achieved.
Thank you so much, Virmala.
And I hope that this Ramadan is really, really good to you, and you have a really good fast.
Of course, and I just want to say, you know, may Allah accept all our fasts to the Muslim community. May Allah accept all our fasts and our efforts. And, you know, may we strive and make this month worthy.
All right. Thank you so much, Charlene. Well, the time now, 6:44 a.m. in Sweet TNT. Trinidad and Tobago Today returns.
City 91.1. Thought-provoking conversations, bold perspectives, voices you trust. Talk City 91.1 is launching bigger, bolder, and more powerful than ever before.
Yes, Talk City 91.1 FM.
A brand new era of talk radio is here. With voices you know, trust, and respect. Get ready for an all-new lineup of the very best in talk. Andy Williams, Lennox Smith, Stephen Reese, Mr. X, Derek Charbodi, Roland Stewart, Sharon Farfan, Sudath Prasad, Heavy Duty, Alex Asing, Karen Francisco, Cherry Lean Lewis, Short Pants, and more of the voices shaping the national conversation. From hard-hitting current affairs to real community issues, culture, politics, social development, and the stories that matter most to you. This is where Trinidad and Tobago comes to talk.
So I'll get right to on Talk City 91.1, where we're going to give you something new, something hot every day, Monday to Friday.
Listen on 91.1 FM and connect on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. New shows, new features, big giveaways. Talk City 91.1, your city, your voice.
It's that time of the year again, my friends. You feel it in the air. Football, football, football. It's back. Everyone's locked in. This is Richard Torpedo Thompson, and my Trinidad and Tobago people. I'll stay this straight. Fans make the game. Cheers, chants, passion. That's the heartbeat of football. There's only one 12th man that really brings the energy. That's Andre Errol Batiste on TTT. Every Thursday on TTT. Don't miss it.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
More news, more access, more ways to stay informed. TTT News covers the stories that matter on air and online. Join us nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Season has delivered yet another historic moment. Soca superstar Machel Montano has rewritten the record book, surpassing the long-standing Road March record previously held by the legendary Aldwin Lord Kitchener-Roberts. But beyond the celebrations and statistics, what exactly does the Road March title truly represent in the cultural heartbeat of Trinidad and Tobago? Well, joining us via Zoom this morning to explore the significance, history, and evolution of the Road March is senior instructor at UTT and founder of Divas Calypso Cabaret International, Dr. Rudolph Otley. Good morning, Dr. Otley.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, and thanks for inviting me to the program this morning.
Thanks for being here.
Former lecturer at UTT.
I see. All right. Well, Dr. Otley, for the viewers who may not fully understand it, what exactly is the Road March title, and why is it such a big deal today, and why is it considered one of Carnival's highest honors?
Well, we have to go back a bit in terms of history and Calypso as a whole. The Road March, the name has changed over the years from a love way, which was part of the tradition of the Calypso art form. It was also part of that Calypso section we call the, we had the love way, we had the calendar, we had the Lego, and we have all different sub-genres of the Calypso. What the Lego at the time represented was after the folks danced their traditional dances like the foxtrot and those things, they ended the night or the celebration with a Lego, a free-spirited music that they all enjoyed in a very localized way. So it really represented a fun time and also represented the popularity of the particular selection at that time.
Dr.
Over the years, the name from the Lego to Road March to reflect more the carnival perspective of the music.
Yeah, Dr. Otley, Machel Montano has now surpassed Lord Kitchener's long-standing record. How significant is this moment in the broader history of Carnival? And also, Lord Kitchener dominated the Road March era in a time when Calypso was the primary voice in the streets. How would you compare the cultural landscape of Kitchener's dominance then to the soca-driven era now that, Machel continues to rise in?
There's so many differences in the eras that we are talking about. In the time of Kitchener, the steel band was a major component of determining the Road March of the year. That doesn't exist now. The steel band plays little or no part in determining what the Road March is. Secondly, you have a competition between maybe two exponents of the art form during Kitchener's time frame, which goes between Kitchener and the Mighty Sparrow, until later on Shadow came in the 70s and Blakey, I think, in 62. And now you have, like every year, there's a different competitor who's competing with either Marshall or Bungie. So that there's some differences there. Then you also had, in Kitchener's era, no one would have collaborated. In other words, Kitchener was on his own, Sparrow was on his own. Where in this era now, we have Marshall winning with 3 collaborations, one with Patrice, one with Super Blue, and then with Bungie and Kenny Fabulous. So that there's some significant things that have happened between the 40s and 50s to what is happening now between 1997 and 2026. The type of music in the Kitchener era, an important variable was the melody, the melodic structure of the Calypso. That has now changed to the rhythm of the Calypso, where once you deal with emotions and feelings, now you're dealing with speed and timing. So there's a whole range of things that are different, significantly different between when Kitchener won and now that Machel Montano is winning.
Yeah. Dr. Otley, so Road March is ultimately about what the masqueraders choose on the road, right? What does Mashal's repeated victories ultimately say about the tastes, the priorities, the identity of our carnival masqueraders?
Well, let's say it's basically that the people want a certain type of tempo, a certain type of speed when they're on stage. They want a continuous rhythm that takes them, propels them forward from the road onto the stage and back onto the street. And I think when you look at Marshall's structure over the years, there's that continuous beat or rhythm that propels you to go forward. Where some of the artists, there's normally a break in between verses, and it slows down the rhythm of the reveler. And I think Marshall has managed to capture that continuous beat throughout his calypsos that keeps you going.
Yeah, you know, we're also living in the age of digital streaming as well. There's globalization, diaspora influence. How do you think all of that impacted soca's growth in a way that Kitchener's generation did not experience?
Well, obviously, we have different platforms and we have a more digitized world that we live in, and therefore, share of information becomes significant. And the artists of today, especially the soca artists, they're very versed in utilizing the platform, the communication devices that are available to them. Whereas in the era of Kitchener, they had to rely on mail, which took 6 weeks to get from here to Britain, or transporting of records, which took a long time to get there. So that the young artists of today, the soca artists, they are very much current with the technique, the technology of the day, and therefore that propels them forward in terms of getting their music out to the wider world. So when people come for Carnival, they're already aware, they're already familiar with the music, as opposed to the 40s and 50s. It's only when you arrive in Trinidad then you will become a bit familiar with it.
I also think it is worth comparing, if you would allow me, Kitchener's role in shaping Calypso as the soundtrack of post-independence Trinidad. It is comparable to Machel Montano's legacy. Do you agree with that, in shaping soca as a global brand in this time in society now?
Yes, I agree. But again, I think it might be foolhardy to compare both eras, because both eras have significant differences and significant modules that may not necessarily be relevant either in the 40s or today. But significantly, Kitchener did impact on the way the Calypso and the Carnival was aligned, especially in relation to the steel band. One of the things that Marshall has not won as yet is a large band within the panorama with one of his elections. I think last year he came second when Renegades played Bethany. But Kitchener, if you want to make a distinction between both Marshall and Kitchener, the major difference is that Kitchener's calypsos seem to be more appealing to the panics of that era. And even today, more than Marshall's music, which seems to be more for the revelers or the masqueraders.
Yeah, and finally, Dr. Otley, when history, looks back decades from now, how do you think this 12th Road March win will be remembered in Trinidad and Tobago and for Machel?
Well, it's very significant because it's 50 years now since Kitchener won his 11th Road March. And therefore, in terms of time, it indicates that it was not an easy task for Marshall to achieve such a milestone. It took 50 years, and Marshall has been involved in the industry over 40-something years. So you can say for his entire life, Marshall has been in pursuit of this goal, and he finally achieved it. And therefore, it's very significant. It's like when Brian Lara broke the world record in cricket. Those kinds of moments we cherish, and we must pay homage to the people who achieved that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rudolph Otley, for joining us this morning, talking about that 12th Road March win for Machel Montano. Have a great day, Dr. Otley.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me again.
All right, no problem. Just about 4 minutes before 7 o'clock. A really packed hour for you this morning. Our conversations ranged from Ramadan and Islam now to Carnival and that Carnival wrap-up that we're presenting to you on Trinidad and Tobago today. Inside the next hour, we're talking about cleanup after Carnival and the regional corporations. What roles did they play? I know you drove through the streets of Port of Spain this morning absolutely clean. Yesterday, I was saying that, you know, all the people working behind the scenes, a very special good morning to everyone working, you know, yesterday, all through the day, all through the night to ensure that we have nice clean roads this morning, nice clean walls, and everything is, you know, spick and span and ready to go for life again today. A lot of people are back on the roads, lots of traffic this morning. And when we come back, our conversation continues on Trinidad and Tobago. Today, we've got Carrie coming up with the major network news.
Your news, anytime, anywhere. TTT News brings you the facts that matter most, on air and online. TTT News, nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Child abuse is one secret you should never keep.
Good morning, this is your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts, making the news at this time. Nothing is wrong with Road March contenders moving from truck to truck to perform their songs. That's the opinion of the president of the Trinbago Unified Calypsonians Organization, Ainsley King. That clarification comes after soca artist Marshall Montano made Road March history, capturing his 12th title and surpassing the legendary Alwyn Roberts, the Lord Kitchener, who previously held the record. Mr. King was responding to questions from journalists at a press conference on Wednesday, where concerns were raised about the possibility of performers disrupting or unfairly influencing the Road March process by going from band to band. He, however, clarified that the rules were changed and artists are free to perform as they please. On Wednesday, soca artist Marshall Montano made Road March history, capturing his 12th title, surpassing legendary Alwyn Lord Kitchener Roberts. Mr. King revealed that Montano's song Encore dominated the road, being played 171 times. Second place went to Aaron Voice St. Louis with Can't Behave, which played 127 times, while Ian Bungie Garland Alvarez secured third with Roadman, which played 97 times. The two co-presidents said Double M's historic win is proof that dedication and relentless hard work will always pay off.
But my take on it is that what was demonstrated is hard work to pay off. That is how, from where I sit. That is what I observe, right? An artist, this is something that artists should pay attention to, because I always believe in competition, that man who put in a lot of work is the one that will edge that competition at the end of the day.
He extended congratulations to Mr. Montano, who he referred to as a greater legend. Lord Kitchener held the Road March title since 1976. And the response from 12-time Road March King, Marshall Montano, was immense gratitude for the win. Via a social media post, the King of Soca said he is grateful to be part of the historic breaking of the 50-year record and hopes it will be an inspiration, especially to the young men and women in the industry. He said the feeling is comparable to his first Road March win in 1997. Mr. Montano also extended congratulations to voice Bungie Garlin and the other contenders and thanked all his fans and masqueraders for the passion and support. In some crime news now, one of 3 intruders who invaded the home of an elderly couple in October last year has been brought to justice after officially being charged with 2 counts of robbery with violence. The incident took place around 7 a.m. on October 14, 2025, when 3 men invaded the Claxton Bay home of a 68-year-old woman and her 71-year-old husband. Alerted by the sound of movement, the 71-year-old man was confronted by one of the armed burglars who assaulted him, leaving him with several injuries. The assailants proceeded to rob the victims of quantities of cash and jewelry before fleeing the scene. The matter was scheduled to be heard on Wednesday. In some sport now, there was plenty to smile about for Trinidad and Tobago on day 1 of the 2026 Pan American Elite Track Cycling Championships in Santiago, Chile, as Tennille Campbell delivered in style. The first Citizens Sportswoman of the Year 2025 wasted no time making her mark, claiming gold in the women's scratch race on Wednesday, her first victory of the year. Campbell crossed the line ahead of Cuba's Marilis Garcia, with Olivia Cummins of the USA rounding out the podium in 3rd. The UCI-sanctioned event carries significant weight beyond the medals, with athletes using the championships as a key opportunity to register their first UCI points of the year as the road to Olympic qualification for the 2028 Games begins to take shape. And that was your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts. After the break, we return to Trinidad and Tobago Today.
New season equals new dreams, and many football fans are dreaming of their team actually winning this season. But the reality is that only one team can win, so many will just be dreaming and wishing and hoping that their team can deliver. Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea. Notice I have not mentioned Arsenal. Don't be upset, I'm not mentioning Man U either. This is Atto Bolden inviting all of you to follow the 12th man as they celebrate a new season on TTT and enjoy the ride.
I'm Renee Sion with another edition of Caribbean Week in Review.
Worship
Your world moves fast, so do we. TTT News brings you the people, events, and issues that matter most. Stay informed, stay ahead. TTT News, every night at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Kids, speak up against abuse.
It is not acceptable for you to be abused in any manner.
From your parents, family members, or peers.
You have the right
to refuse
the abuse.
Report it to anyone.
Guidance counselors,
doctors, teachers, or even your neighbors.
Anyone who can help.
Speak up
against abuse. Speak up. Speak up.
Speak up.
Speak up.
Break the silence. Child abuse is one secret you should never keep.
Welcome back to Trinidad and Tobago Today. The time now 7 minutes after 7 o'clock. Remember, for all the stories that you see here and more, check us out at TTT Live Online. If you have a story idea, a press release, or you want to collaborate with us, we'd love to hear from you. Contact us today at tttoday@ttt.co.tt and be part of the conversation that's shaping our nation. Trinidad and Tobago Today. News you can trust and stories that matter. Well, speaking of stories that matter, this is something I've been preaching since yesterday. This carnival season, while thousands were on the road celebrating, another team was working just as hard behind the scenes, ensuring that by the time the last fete ended, our streets were already on their way back to normal. The Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government spearheaded a swift, coordinated cleanup exercise across the country under the National Program for the Upkeep of Public Spaces, deploying more than 1,000 workers across all 14 municipal corporations. Joining us this morning to discuss the operation, the employment opportunities created this carnival and going forward, and what's next as attention shifts to beaches and recreational spaces, is the Honourable Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, Khadija Almin. Good morning, Minister.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me, and of course, good morning to our viewers.
How was your carnival?
It was a working carnival, and I think it was quite productive.
Yeah.
I have to commend all our team members. The workers, of course, who were out there day and night, but in our 14 regional corporations, all our municipalities had a role to play in managing the exercise. So it was us in ministry strengthening what the regional corporation would usually do and attending to the shortcomings that were identified over the years. Yeah. So over the years, yes, most regional corporations participate in the cleanup, but it was about fine-tuning it, making it better, making it quicker and more efficient, and I think they were able to deliver.
Minister, take us back to Carnival Tuesday night into Ash Wednesday morning. You know, just driving to work yesterday morning, just seeing all the crews immobilized. What was the strategy behind having the crews mobilized as early as midnight?
Well, the crews were mobilized as early as 10 p.m.
Oh.
In some areas, the carnival usually shuts down before midnight, so we worked with what usually happened. But generally, most of the teams came out at 1 a.m. But over the carnival weekend, we had shifts where there were some workers who had to come out after Juve, for instance. They came out at 10 a.m. and worked till about 4 p.m. And then there were shifts that came out after the Monday night mass to make sure that the streets were clean the Monday night. And then for the masqueraders on Tuesday. And then Tuesday, of course, the big culmination is Tuesday into Ash Wednesday. I was on the road, I did not sleep. Midnight, we were while the crews were being dispatched, you had teams in Rio Claro, Pinal, Arima, they started at midnight promptly. By 2 a.m., the streets of Tunapuna and Aruca were spotless, and into Port of Spain, where you have the biggest number of masqueraders and people in general. And that usually is the greatest challenge. They too, by I would say by 3-4 a.m. by 4 a.m. they were washing the streets. So that meant that the sweepers had taken up all the garbage. Apart from bagging all the stuff, also the coordination of the equipment. You had equipment like trucks, backhoes to pick up the garbage, compactors. We would have brought equipment and personnel from other corporations into Port of Spain. You had water trucks and so on. So some of these would have been procured by the regional corporations, some from NCC, some from contractors, and some were from in-house from the corporation. But that coordinated effort meant that you very swiftly had the streets clean. So my target was by 5 a.m. all the streets should be clean, but I think by 3:34 Port of Spain was clean. By 2 a.m. several of the other regions were clean. And I think this ties into cleanliness and safetyness and what safety meant for Carnival. And it wasn't Port of Spain alone. A lot of people work in Port of Spain and they are remarking about Peter Avenue and Mukarapu Road and downtown Port of Spain, which was excellent. But for me, what was remarkable is that in every region, the focus, NCC's focus on regional carnival and the Ministry of Culture's ability to make that happen and what regional carnival means for local economic development and those communities. So when you see a massive crowd in Sandy Grande, when you see big Juve in Talparo and many of these other regions, it means that vendors get more sales. It means that mass men, in terms of the local economy, you find that, to me, that is also very significant. And I want to see regional carnival continue to be strengthened so that rural communities could benefit. Our local government bodies could continue to be more involved in a rewarding way, not just in roads and drains and picking up the garbage, but in culture and in facilitating culture and cultural development, facilitating economic development within their region.
Yeah, Minister, regional carnival is something that we really focused on this year as well. And we had the Rio Claro Association coming to talk about their carnival. And some people said, there's carnival in Rio Claro. And they really tried to revive it. And so when you put an emphasis on the regional carnival, there's obviously the stimulation of the community, and like the vendors, just the spirit, the morale of the community. And that's a beautiful thing. And especially when you are moving into these communities that have not seen carnival for a very long time, or carnival kind of die, the celebrations, that's also really important as well.
It is. So for instance, you talk about Rio Claro. Do you know there's carnival in Beach Junction, in areas in Moruga? What we had too was the return of carnival in some areas. So there were new carnival committees who introduced the celebrations in areas that did not previously have celebrations, or stepped in to strengthen. So for instance, in St. Augustine, it's not a rural area per se, but in Curepe, I worked with the carnival committee that was there for many years. I was born in Curepe, I'm a Curepe girl, and there were so many of the elders left us and they're not that involved again. And this year we had, instead of having the judging point at Fazata where they have had it for many years, we reintroduced the street parade for Kiddies Carnival. So our children were on the streets, the little masqueraders, and we had a very short route for them. And that added to Curepe. And it means that the lady who was making homemade ice cream, the person making palori, all going down the road, everybody come in front their yard and sell. Just in front of thing, and they have people passing. So it contributes to the economy in that way. But if you think about areas like Rio Claro, Tabaquite, Brasso, Talparo, in Sandy Grande, you also have, in addition to vendors, you have people who contribute to the actual mass making, who now have a boost, because you don't have to necessarily go into Port of Spain. Of course, they do as well. But you also have an incentive to create mass in your community. And what that means is little ones are going to be participating, helping, learning wire bending, learning all that is associated with mass, not just the making of it, but the management of it, going on the road, the precision, or how to put things in place with your transport, your your people, make your customers satisfied. All of this really is about developing the human beings in that community, you know. So I felt that was really good for NCC, in addition to having flavor and all the successful things they had for Carnival in Port of Spain, to have flavor in, for instance, there was a flavor in Superior, so there were stick fighting in several rural communities. You had in Tunapuna, you had in Sandy Grande, Moruga. So all of these events around the Carnival, to me, it gave local economies a boost. And when the UNC government spoke about economic development, it includes the development of the local economy. And there are so many things happening on a macro level, and the Prime Minister speaks about the, you know, OFAC license and all the other things that are happening on an international scale that are successful reflections of this government's leadership and her leadership as Prime Minister. It also trickles down to the rural communities, and of course, Carnival stimulates that.
Minister, on a larger note, the national program for the upkeep of public spaces. Now, I know that was rolled out a little bit earlier on. Carnival 2026, I'm guessing, was the largest operational test so far, right?
Oh, yes, yeah. Certainly, certainly. The program, the pilot, we are only in the pilot. The pilot was launched on the 15th of December, and it runs for 3 months till the 15th of March. However, we increased the number of employees by just over 1,000 workers for the month of February, because we recognize that Carnival cleanup is not just for after the bands pass. You have to prepare spaces. So there are pan tents, for instance, panyards that they would have assisted with, but roadsides and recreation spaces. You have spaces on the beaches used for camping, rivers and so on. So they went in from the 2nd of February. They were in every region preparing spaces that would usually be used for Carnival, and then, of course, for Carnival. But now, after the Ash Wednesday cool down, we in Trinidad have such a cool down mentality. Everybody wants to go to the beach, the river. So we also have target programmed those areas for special cleanup in terms of after the masqueraders. Now, those areas were cleaned before as well. Areas like Matlat, Balandra, Salibia, Marian River in Blanche Shares, the Tyrico, and then in the south you have Moruga Beach, Clifton Hill. That whole stretch along Mayaro, from Manzanilla to Mayaro, you have rivers, several regions. So if you think about Cora River, Valencia River, so those areas are also now targeted. The Carnival edition ends on the 28th of February. And of course, the pilot continues, but the pilot is much smaller. But I think based on the pilot project, as well as the Carnival edition, the regional corporations have proven themselves. And what, of course, adds state is if the productivity of the established workers in the regional corporation could also be improved, because that has been a talking point in terms of the productivity of corporation workers. And that is something we will work to improve. We have to work to improve.
Well, speaking of the workers, I know your teams, as you said, they started early as 10 p.m. What stood out to you most about the dedication of the cleanup crews who were involved this Carnival season?
The thing is, while people are inspired to work, there are people who want to work, and then there are people who just want to get paid. There are people who signed up for a Carnival cleanup program and then take a day off. They throw their reflector vest at you and they say they're going to play mass, and you see them on the stage. There are people who genuinely want work, and there are people who are willing to produce. There are those who came to me and said, Minister, can this program continue? I enjoyed working here. I like, you know. But what is also significant for me is that we were able to cut out the middleman and the gang leaders and employ people directly and give them more meaningful salary. So overall, the program actually costs less than it would have cost before, but the workers get far more pay. So they get a decent wage for that period. And to me, that was significant. But I also took the opportunity before and after the Carnival cleanup to go out and talk to workers on the ground, interact with them, get their feedback from, you know, their working. And I think it's important for us to think about that when we deal with productivity in our country as a whole, because that is a topic That is a topic. You have migrant workers coming in. You have the dismantling of these corrupt programs that had people getting paid to stay home and creating this lazy mentality. Whereas on the other hand, you have people who genuinely want to work. You have qualified people who cannot get a job. And, you know, you have people who, you know, as I say, they just want a salary, not to work. Yeah. You know, but we have work to be done. So I say, I mean, all ministries will be affected by this, but private sector is also affected by it in terms of how people produce. So I trust that that is something that we can begin to resolve now that the URP program and the CPEP has been dissolved, because it speaks to a bigger problem in terms of our willingness to work and do meaningful work for meaningful pay. And if you are doing nothing and getting paid for signing a register, that is not work. That is not decent employment. You know, so we have to move away from that, where the corruption in the last government allowed the big boys to run away with the bulk of the money, and those people who were getting a little crumbs, they vex when you take away the crumbs, not realizing that those people who were giving them the crumbs went to the whole bakery. You know, so that endemic corruption has to be removed and productivity has to be restored.
Yeah, the last time you were here, we had a discussion about funding and about resources for the corporations, but it's good that you shifted that conversation to, it's not just about resources, but it's about the work that you're putting in, and of course the workers and their dedication to the corporations as well. And,
certainly.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Minister, what would you like to say to citizens about personal responsibility and protecting the environment? Because, you know, we have everyone cleaning. We have the corporations doing all this cleanup work. But of course, citizens have to be mindful of their spaces, the environment. We have not been taking good care of the environment. I know you would agree with that. And it's national celebrations. Yes, it's carnival and everyone's having a good time, but we're going to the beaches and we're littering. We're doing things that cause irreparable damage as well to the environment.
Yeah, and you know, people have this attitude like, you know, somebody else will pick it up.
Yes.
We have to, as families, be responsible, because we teach our children when we throw garbage, we teach our children how to disrespect the environment, how to disrespect your surroundings, as opposed to being mindful of your surrounding, being mindful of others. There's need for us in the schools as well, because some adults, when they get into the habit, it's difficult for them to change. And I know that as a parent, it's easier to teach your child to do the right thing. And children also influence homes. So when they come home and they say, Mommy, why you throw that bottle out the window? Or Daddy, why you know, littering? It makes a difference in the family. So perhaps that could be part of our solution. But the regional corporations also have room to work with communities, with schools, with NGOs in terms of recycling programs, educational programs around littering, because the regional corporations deal with the consequences of it. When somebody decides to throw an old mattress or an old appliance, fridge, stove, whole fridge and stove coming down in the flood, where does it come from? Somebody has to dispose of it illegally or improperly, and there are ways to dispose of it. So while we are legally responsible for dealing with the consequences of littering, we also have the power and authority to take initiative in the prevention of littering. And I want to take this opportunity to call on the public, because there are NGOs who are involved in community cleanups and these things. But let's also get involved in educating the population so that in your community you could have more mindfulness. You can separate, you can put plastic bottles separately. You know, there are several things that you can do. And NGOs and civil society can also pick up the mantle and work with your regional corporation, work with your local government councillor and your MPs, and have initiatives in your own area.
Can we look forward to any like ramped up recycling program for, you know, Trinidad and Tobago? Because, you know, when you travel, you go to people's homes and they say, well, you need to put it in this bin and that bin. Do you think we are ready for that as a society?
Listen, I would say yes, because I would hope that that is where we're going to be. But let's be realistic. I was first elected as a local government councillor in 2003. I have been hearing about separation at the curb and recycling and making trash into to money and all these things for decades. But we have to be realistic. Our culturally, we continue to be a littering population. And I think we have to get experts to help us deal with that. What we will do in local government is to try to improve on terms of management of waste in our communities and how we keep our communities clean. And of course, part of that involves residents taking initiatives and civil society working along with us. There are many organizations who do, for instance, tree planting, clean up certain areas. But there are, on the other hand, there are also people who come with truckloads of garbage and just dump it at the side of the road. And our enforcement has to be beefed up, and that is part of what we are working on in ministry, to return our litter prevention units. So you have litter prevention wardens. Those are attached to the corporations that could charge people, give people tickets for littering. You see a man come with a whole truckload of coconut. He is selling coconut. He is not, he is making money, and as part of his business, he should properly dispose his coconut shells. There are people who just dump tires, all sorts of things that are very damaging to the environment, batteries and these type of things. So one of the things that we will be doing is dealing with our litter wardens in a more holistic way, and public health as a whole. We have now created a public health unit at the Ministry of Local Government, and once we formalize our plans, I will be sharing it with you, because I'm very excited. As there are a lot of issues under public health that affect the population, including garbage collection, laws and enforcement against littering, vacant lots. If you think about vacant and overgrown lots where you have a lot of snakes and rats and all these things, so it's a whole array that will take, I know it will take another show, but I'm very excited that that public health unit will be working in the Ministry of Rural Development.
We'll
and
definitely
local
take
government.
you up on that to have you back to talk about that. Thank you so much, Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, Khadija Ame, for joining us on Trinidad and Tobago today. When we come back, we talk a little bit about art on Trinidad and Tobago today.
Your news anytime, anywhere. Join us nightly at 7. TTT News. Committed, accurate, relevant.
Unleash your imagination with TTT's Terrific Toon Time. Join us as we stop evil geniuses from taking over the world on Super Z, or hop on board for a journey into outer space with Galaxy Kids. Be a part of our quest to save the forest alongside our robot pals from Bugspot Ignition. Or let's go exploring with Duda and Dada. Catch Terrific Toon Time Monday to Friday at 8:30 a.m. and 4:10 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. It's fun-filled adventure with Terrific Toon Time right here on TTT.
I'm Renee Sion with another edition of Caribbean Week in Review.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون.
This powerful verse from the Holy Quran invites us to embrace reflection, self-discipline, and spiritual renewal. Join us daily on TTT Limited for special Ramadan features, inspiring messages, heartfelt moments of devotion, and reflections that uplift our nation.
Thursday, 19th February. That's the date. Are you celebrating anything special today? Maybe a birthday? Well, happy birthday to you. Speaking of birthday, our birthday boy, Carrie, he's all over the place all the time. And today, we're going to see where Carrie takes us next in his feature.
The spring bridge that straddles the Marian River is the usual starting point for this journey, as the road past this juncture often proves too much for the average sedan. Those with vehicles that can handle rougher terrain can save themselves some of the labor, but there will inevitably come a point where the vehicle must be left behind. On the way, the sporadic private property dots the still wide path that mostly traces the coastline. Step by step, the shady trees recede from overhead and the sea's inviting call beckons. An uneven descent to the shore past several sturdy coconut trees, and the view becomes clear. This gem is known as Laspoor Bay. With its striking blue waters and numerous other natural features that speak for themselves, it would be no surprise if the urge to stop the journey here to bask in this slice of paradise overcame any other feelings. Be cautious with bathing here though, as there are many irregular ocean currents, making the surf here dangerous. Beauty aside, this is but the first checkpoint of the journey, and the real hike begins past this. Unlike the route prior, it now proceeds in a single file as it trails into the forest. Much of this path follows the coastline, but it is typically elevated, with the crashing waters of the Caribbean Sea a far plummet below. As it progresses, the winding path meanders through the rainforest, at times with the turquoise waters peeking through the tropical foliage. Eventually, a clearing appears to the left, directing us to a detour off the main trail. Follow the path around some bushes up a slight incline, and you are met with the curious sight of a tunnel formed by shrubs. At the other end, the view expands and the sight to behold is inexplicable. This heavenly place is known as Turtle Rock. Every square inch within view in any direction is enough to leave one awestruck. From the small cove and tiny stony beach on the right, to the stunning view of Senna Bay to the far left, and the seemingly infinite stretches of coastline to the east and west, the views here are incomparable in beauty. One may ask, why is it called Turtle Rock? Well, as it is in life sometimes, if you want to see the bigger picture, you may have to change your perspective. I'm Carrie Roberts, giving you a glimpse into the paradise we have right here.
For a lesson today, if you want to see the bigger picture, you might just need to change your perspective. Hopefully that stays with you. Remember, for everything that you see here and more, follow us at TTT Live Online. If you have a story idea, a press release, or you simply want to collaborate with us, well, we'd love to hear from you. Contact us today at tttoday@ttt.co.tt and be part of the conversation that's shaping our nation. Trinidad and Tobago Today, news you can trust, and of course, all the stories that matter. We take a short break, and when we come back, so much more on TNT Today.
Talk City 91.1. Thought-provoking conversations, bold perspectives, voices you trust. Talk City 91.1 is launching bigger, bolder, and more powerful than ever before.
Yes, Talk City 91.1 FM.
A brand new era of talk radio is here. With voices you know, trust, and respect. Get ready for an all-new lineup of the very best in talk. Andy Williams, Rennick Smith, Stephen Reese, Mr. X, Derek Charbodi, Roland Stewart, Sharon Farfan, Sudath Prasad, Heavy Duty, Alex Asing, Karen Francisco, Cherry Lean Lewis, Short Pants, and more of the voices shaping the national conversation. From hard-hitting current affairs to real community issues, culture, politics, social development, and the stories that matter most to you. This is where Trinidad and Tobago comes to talk.
So I'll go right to on Talk City 91.1, where we're going to give you something new, something hot every day, Monday to Friday.
Listen on 91.1 FM and connect on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. New shows, new features, big giveaways. Talk City 91.1. Your city, your voice.
Your world moves fast, so do we. TTT News brings you the people, events, and issues that matter most. Stay informed, stay ahead. TTT News, every night at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
That time of the year again, my friends. Feel it in the air. Football, football, football. It's back. Everyone's locked in. This is Richard Torpedo Thompson, and my Trinidad and Tobago people. I'll stay this straight. Fans make the game. Cheers, chants, passion. That's the heartbeat of football. There's only one 12th man that really brings the energy. That's Andre Errol Batiste on TTT. Every Thursday on TTT. Don't miss it.
TTT News, every night at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Somewhere in the back of our head, and it's locked there forever. We didn't quite bring it to the forefront until now.
The main reason for us forming the band was to enter a competition in Trinidad called Pan Ramajé. the fourth year winning, we pulled out of the competitive arena and tried to start spreading music overseas.
We want to actually show the audience what Trinidad and Tobago music is about.
You know, it's like we changed the perspective that people had of pan and pan players.
When we feed off of each other, the crowd actually feel that energy, and then they start to get excited, and then we start to feed off of their energy, you know.
I think in those moments I felt like, yes, I was living my dream.
To see the joy on the players' faces when we perform, it will always stick in my heart.
This morning on Trinidad and Tobago Today, we're welcoming back a familiar face, Finbar Barry Bartholomew, co-filmmaker of the powerful documentary Panaz, the story. And he returns for a follow-up conversation. Now, when he last joined us, he spoke about the vision behind the film, its mission to celebrate, the legacy, the evolution, the global impact of the steel pan on national instruments. Since then, the documentary has continued to generate conversation and pride among pan lovers at home and abroad. Today, we catch up with Barry to talk about the journey since his last visit, the audience reactions and what the film has really uncovered about our cultural identity and what's next for Panaz, the story. Good morning, Barry.
Good
and
morning,
guest.
Virmala.
I did not even get your name this morning. You did not introduce me, Barry. That's
Sorry.
bad.
It was a late arrival.
It was. Well, good morning, and thank you for being here to talk about Panaz. No, I know that Carrie partnered with Panaz as well, so we'll get to that.
Yep.
But how did that collaboration come about?
It actually came about when my friend Adam Aboud came to see the movie in Gemstone, and he was so impressed and moved by it. The next day I called him up and asked him, what do you think about Carrie, and if we hooked up with Carrie as a tour sponsor to help us go on tour with the movie? And within seconds, Adam had me on to this one, that one, hooked it up, and I was on to Antron Ford and Robin Cumberbatch and Terry Ramkisoon here. And there was not even a 2-minute delay before they said, we're on it. We love the pairing of the movie and Carib. So we went international. Last year was a whole international tour from Japan to Miami to London to Boston to Barbados, Washington, New York. Yeah, teaming up with all stars sometimes.
Yeah. Well, Terry, you are the senior brand manager of Carib Trademark. How has this experience been for you partnering with Panaz?
Well, this has been great because Carib is about culture. We love that Barry was able to bring steel pan to life, not just locally but internationally as well. Yeah. And as huge supporters of everything culturally relevant and locally sound, we are happy to be partners with him.
Barry, why is the local screening so significant for you for Panaz?
For both me and my nephew Adam, because this started off as a project Adam had in Harvard 2 years ago. His professors threw out a challenge to the class to do a documentary on any band in the world that was breaking ground boundaries and whatnot. And of course, he chose his uncle's band, Panaz. Flew down, and that's how it started off. Of course, Adam wasn't born during Panaz years, so I had to kind of guide him as to how the story went and whatnot. So we collaborated, and this is the result. It's a really moving, inspirational movie. So that's how it began initially. The question was what again?
Why is a local screening so important?
Yeah, well, especially to get the local youths involved and to see the movie. I think that's one of the key factors that both of us have is just to inspire the youth. And not just with pan players, with any musician, any instrument that they're playing in school or otherwise, be it violin, piano, flute, whatever. This movie can touch you and inspire you in many, many ways. So there actually is going to be a screening on Monday at 4:30 p.m. in Movietown in the cinema number 1, 400 seats, where UTT students and other schools are going to come and see the movie for free.
Yeah.
So that's going to be very special.
It's good that the youth are getting involved as well, and
Yeah.
you know, creating a space that's dedicated to the young people.
Exactly.
So you've been working closely with All Stars, right? During the Panorama preparation. What was the experience like inside the pan yard?
Yeah, I've been with All Stars since 1986, Carrie to Bank a year, and I haven't played pan with All Stars in maybe about 20 years. But this year was very special. Special for many reasons. I recommended a song to Leon Smooth Edwards, The Will by Scrunter. And after learning a lot of the road songs, a lot of the current year songs, The Will stood out. And so then that was their choice for Panorama. And one thing led to the next, and I ended up on stage in my chef uniform, stirring a pot in front of the band. That was very surreal, but that's what happened. Cooking some wild meat.
You're bringing so many worlds together, from food to pan, right. Now documentary. What's going on? What is happening?
And then cooking moolah for the entire country.
Exactly. We'll talk about that just now. You know, Terry. I know that Carib has long been intertwined with Carnival, culture, and all of that. How does this partnership strengthen that cultural connection that you've always had? Well, Carib has always had.
So we see the development of steel pan throughout the region, throughout the international market. And the story that Barry is telling here brings steel pan just from the roots, from out of the past, into something that is alive and that is living and that we can relate to on any forum. So us backing him is, again, just stands behind everything that we know and we love, which is Trinidad culture, the greatness that we are, and supporting anything that is along that line.
Yeah. Really happy for the success of this.
I have to also say, I mean, on tour with the movie last year, it was a frantic tour, I have to say. But thanks to Carrie for sponsoring my hotel, air flights and whatnot, you know. But the reactions internationally was mind-blowing. I mean, there were 1,000-seater auditoriums. And just the enthusiasm after seeing the movie, they wouldn't want to go home. They stayed in the lobby for an hour and more afterwards. Especially locals who are living abroad. I mean, their paws were raised, they were crying in the end. There was a lot of, just happy to be connected with Trinidad and Tobago, and seeing a movie like that, I think, did a lot for themselves as a person, Yeah. It was fantastic. I mean, we played at the Brooklyn Performing Arts Theatre. This is the day after All Stars performed on Times Square, and then the following day was Panaz's story, followed by All Stars on stage, which is a great combination. That happened again the next week in Miami, So it was really a mammoth trip, but it was worth it.
Yeah, I know you're also Chef Finbar. How are you balancing all of that? I know we just spoke about it, but I want to come back to it now.
Yeah.
How are you balancing storytelling and through film and storytelling through food?
Yeah, barely. Barely balancing it. I mean, it's all three things I love. So I have to say I'm blessed to have that. I love cooking. I mean, I was a chef in New York for 15 years, and I finally came back here, and I'm doing my own thing privately. It's been fantastic. I love cooking. It's therapeutic for me, So that and music is a great combination.
Have you had the chance to try his food?
I have the fish fry.
The fish fry.
Okay, so that makes one of us.
It does. You have to get on it, though.
It's a bucket list of mine to try Chef Fin's. But is it moolah?
The moolah or the fish and chips is next.
Well, I have a moolah t-shirt now, so
that's a good start.
I feel like that's going to work for me. Terry, can we expect Carib to continue investing in projects like these? That really help Trinidad and Tobago's culture.
Certainly. Anything that we can do to put our culture and the essence of who we are on a map, we are 100% behind it.
Yeah. All right, we actually have a video for you now that's queued up, so let's take a look at that.
I think we've all put Panaz somewhere in the back of our head, and it's locked there forever. We didn't quite bring it to the forefront until now.
The main reason for us forming the band was to enter a competition in Trinidad called Pan Ramajé. After the fourth year winning, we pulled out of the competitive arena and tried to start spreading music overseas.
we want to actually show the audience what Trinidad and Tobago music is about.
You know, it's like we change the perspective that people had of pan and pan players.
When we feed off of each other, the crowd actually feel that energy, and then they start to get excited, and then we start to feed off of their energy now.
I think in those moments I felt like, yes, I was living my dream.
To see the joy on the players' faces when we perform, it will always stick in my heart.
Panaz, the story. Wow, it's definitely something that I want to check out. So next week, the screening is taking place. Where can we get more information about that?
Actually, panazthestory.com has everything.
You have a website?
Yeah, we do. We fancy. Go to panazthestory.com, and it has all the links to Movietown as well, and you'll see the times. I think it's going to show 3 times a day, something like 1 o'clock, 2:30, and 4:30 every day. Yeah, and that's it. Yeah. It's going to run from today until Wednesday, so it's a week-long run.
Terry, excited for the screenings?
Super excited. It'll be my second time.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, and how long is the...
It's 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Ooh, that's an enjoyable time.
Yeah, it is.
It really is.
It really pulls you in.
Yeah, it's something we really need to check out.
Yeah.
So I just want to circle back to something we spoke about earlier about the students. I know students will be, encouraged to view as well.
Yeah.
This is really important for us, not just students who are interested in pan or anything like that, but also in culture.
Yeah.
So how important was that for you, Terry, just getting involved in something that, just the youths are involved in as well?
Yeah.
So we love cultivating lasting memories and things that, again, showcase who we are as a people and what we can do. And we think this is a very inspiring movie. We've all seen it, and it has been great. And the feeling I left with, I would love for anyone to feel that.
Yeah. Again, especially the young people.
Oh, yeah.
What's next for Panaz and for you, Chef Finbar, and filmmaker and many different things? A man of many talents.
I'll be a chef for life, it seems. So I'll be in my kitchen pretty often. Panaz, the movie, you never know, because we already have 3 offers to go overseas again this year. So it's a rolling coaster, and I'm very excited to see where it ends up. But yeah, it's just getting the movie out there and being seen by as many eyes as possible is so important for the country, to show that different side of pan, sea pan, and our people in general,
And most importantly, when can I try the food?
Yeah, well, give me a text message.
Also,
I'll add you to the list.
like you were just saying, you were cooking a pot in front of the band, right? While Scrunto was cooking iguana. That's some serious Trini energy. How is that?
Exactly. He's a wild-meat man, Scrunto, so we had to do that. I mean, some people say it was a lizard. I don't know where they got that from. It was an iguana. We cooked iguana.
I think there was a theme about lizards.
I don't know where that came from.
Everybody kept saying something about a lizard.
I have no idea. Nothing. It was an iguana, And,
so it's not the same thing.
No.
Okay. So maybe we should try some of that sometime, Terry.
Yeah, curry iguana.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe. You're also famous for your mulao, right?
Yeah, mulao is a spin that I did on pilau. It's basically mu as in
beef.
The sound the cow makes. It's beef, oxtail, and cow heel pilau. So it's a real meat-loaded
came up with that.
pilau. I did. I did a cow heel pilau for All Stars many, many years ago, and they went crazy. And I thought, what else can I add to a cow heel pilau?
My goodness.
To make it a mulao, So it caught on, and it's been crazy. I mean, oh my God. The price of oxtail, though, is ridiculous.
Yeah.
We need to fix that.
Okay, we definitely do. So we're looking forward to a mulao from you.
Yeah.
Maybe, Terry, we should try that.
We should.
Yeah,
most
I think so. Well, good luck in the screening happening next week. It's Panaz, the story. Remember, you can check them out.
Yeah.
PanazThestory.com.
PanazThestory.com. Yeah. Starts today.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Terry and Chef Finbar on Trinidad and Tobago Today. We're just about 2 minutes before 8 o'clock. Hope you had a wonderful morning with us on TNT today. I hope you're having your coffee. Maybe you're already at work. You're streaming us live on YouTube. Maybe you're on Facebook. It's always good to have you here. We'll be back tomorrow from 6 a.m. Tomorrow it is finally Friday. It's been a short week, but it feels like it's been a long week, hasn't it? Right? Yeah. Also, a very special, blessed Ramadan to the Muslim community, embarking on their first fast this morning. And that's where we call it a wrap. Up next, we've got Carrie with the major network news. That's it for TNT Today.
Your stories, your communities, your country. TTT News is everywhere, on the ground, across Trinidad and Tobago, and on every smart device. TTT News, nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Now listen, this is your boy Carlos Edwards, and as a former player, let me tell you, it's the fans, man. The fans that made the game, that's the 12th man right there. And when it comes to Trinidad and Tobago, there's only one 12th man you need to know. My guy, Andre Baptiste on TTT, is bringing the heat every Thursday.
Good morning, this is your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts, making the news at this time. The win for Marshall Montano, 12th time as Road March Monarch, is highly significant. Senior instructor at UTT, Dr. Rudolph Otley, drew comparisons between Marshall's victory and that of Calypso legend, the mighty Kitchener, Alwyn Roberts, noting that he has now surpassed the iconic artist's achievement.
The steel band was a major component of determining the Road March of the year. That doesn't exist now. The steel band plays little or no part in determining what the road match is. Secondly, you have a competition between maybe two exponents of the art form during Kitchener's time frame, which was between Kitchener and the mighty Sparrow, until later on Shadow came in the 70s and Blakey, I think, in 62.
Dr. Otley says that not only accompaniment made a difference, but also the mode of composition of tunes.
On his own, Sparrow was on his own. Where in this era now we have Marshall winning with 3 collaborations, one with Patrice, one with Super Blue, and then with Bunchy and Kenny Fabulous. So that there's some significant things that have happened between the 40s and 50s to what is happening now between 1997 and 2026.
Dr. Otley explained that even something as fundamental as the driving force behind the music can set one winning performance apart from another.
In the Kitchener era, an important variable was the melody, the melodic structure of the calypso. That has now changed to the rhythm of the calypso, where once you deal with emotions and feelings, now you're dealing with speed and timing.
Dr. Rudolph Otley said several factors shape modern wins, including writing music for large steel bands and the impact of technology, which allows visitors to know the tunes before arriving. He added that differences between eras make comparisons limited. In other news, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, Tobago Division, is reporting a safe carnival period. Providing an update during Carnival Tuesday celebrations, Senior Superintendent Rodil Kirk said from the start of Tuesday's celebrations, officers were out in their numbers and no major incidents were reported.
Starting with the Juve at the Color Hall this morning, a crowd about 2005 walked the street this morning, and tonight we have the mud bands parading Scarborough. We had estimated about 4,000 persons I will see on Scarborough now. The police are along with the bands. So far we have no reported incident, and I'm happy for that.
Superintendent Kirk noted that the Tobago Division adopted a zero-tolerance approach to any incidents, noting that officers' quick response during the parade of the bands on Tuesday resulted in the arrest of one man.
Earlier, our officers were called into action when there was a little altercation, and they took those persons out of the celebration, and that is good. Things went smooth after that. I also want to thank the Tobago public for being well behaved.
On Carnival Monday, Assistant Commissioner of Police Michael Pei said knives and cutlasses were confiscated during roadblock exercises. However, no major incidents were reported. And in some sport now, there was plenty to smile about for Trinidad and Tobago on day one of the 2026 Pan American Elite Track Cycling Championships in Santiago, Chile, as Tennille Campbell delivered in style. The First Citizen Sportswoman of the Year 2025 wasted no time making her mark, claiming gold in the women's scratch race on Wednesday, her first victory of the year. Campbell crossed the line ahead of Cuba's Marlies Garcia, with Olivia Cummins of the USA rounding out the podium in third. The UCI-sanctioned event carries significant weight beyond the medals, with athletes using the championships as a key opportunity to register their first UCI points of the year, as the road to Olympic qualification for the 2028 Games begins to take shape. And that was your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts. Have a great day.
This is TTT. Live for local.